want to talk about psychology and a bit of philosophy inside my ideas of photography. I did a shoot for a client a few weeks ago, and they were really happy with the results. And it's a coffee shop I go to regularly, so I was very familiar with the space, and also very familiar, having worked in specialty coffee in Melbourne, very familiar with the coffee scene as well. So it was almost like shooting fish in a barrel, you could say. And I mean, it's very easy to spot details that look aesthetically pleasing that a lot of people wouldn't normally see or notice, and trying to capture them and bring them to light in a photograph is what makes shooting fun. But yeah, like I said, I'd had a lot of experience with Melbourne, with specialty coffee within Melbourne, and yeah, I'm a regular at this cafe, so I know the space really well. I know the guys really well, and it was a fun shoot. I was just hanging out there for a few hours, but when I got a message back once I sent the photos off from one of the owners, and they were saying they were emotional because they saw the photos, and there were details caught there that they see every day that go by unnoticed by most people. And obviously someone pouring, everyone sees someone pour or loading up a portafilter, or like dosing out the coffee for a pour over. It's all stuff you see, but when you do it yourself, there are little finer details, and there's motor skills developed in muscle memory that it all becomes second nature in what you're doing, but a lot of people wouldn't notice. And I guess that's the same with everything. When you've been doing something for a long time and you reach that level of skill, that a lot of it is automatic, and sometimes you don't even notice that you're doing what you're doing. You're just in the flow of doing your skill. And they were talking about how there's only someone who worked in hospitality and in the coffee scene would really understand and be able to capture those images the way they did. And I was really taken. It was a lovely thing to hear back, especially because coffee is something I'm really passionate about, and obviously photography is something I'm really passionate about too. So it was a really lovely thing to hear back from them. And I was obviously very happy with the photos. I wouldn't have sent them off if I wasn't happy with them. But yeah, it's something you kind of don't think about a lot as well. Like, obviously I had that knowledge and understanding of the space because I was a recurring customer, and understood the workflow and operations of running a small coffee shop. So there were those details I could see. But then there's other things as well. I don't think it should be limited to just being a niche, or putting yourself in a niche of just being a coffee photographer or a food photographer or whatever photographer. But I think it's a skill to, like, if you've got an understanding of a space you're shooting, then it is going to be a lot easier. But I want to carry over that mindset of knowing what is happening and what the small details are that not everyone sees. And obviously every shop is going to run differently, and I didn't just go in there and be like, okay, I'm taking a photo of you loading up a portafilter, I'm taking a photo of you pouring a stacked chiller, I'm going to take a photo of you doing a pour over. They're all very easy things to spot and see, but it's a matter of being able to slow down. And you need to, I feel, in order to capture these photos, I'm just talking about this space specifically, you need to slow down, and you can't be moving faster than what they're moving inside the space. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to capture what they're doing. You're not going to be able to absorb what they're doing and feel what they're doing. And I think a big part of that comes down to slowing down and almost on an empathetic level, feeling what they're feeling. It sounds a bit wish-washy, but I really believe that to get those details, you're basically being an observer, and you've got a device that can freeze that frame and that moment of time. So my idea is that you're slowing down and taking on and feeling the space and seeing what's going on. You don't want to just go in there and then say if they're under the pump, like it's right, like they're in the middle of a rush. If I'm running around in the middle of a rush as well, just snapping off shots, I'm not really going to get anything of real value. I might capture some moments giving a feel of what the scene is like, but overall, I'm going to miss those subtleties. And I don't want to just be pigeonholing this into a coffee shop or a cafe. And I don't think I do, because I carry this mindset over when I go do other shoots, when I've shot for artists, when I've shot at, for other small businesses. I've done a bit of work with tattoo artists as well, and it's like I've had tattoos in the past, obviously, and I absorb what's going on there, and a lot of them also it's easy picking because most studios have a pretty sweet setup. They're aesthetically really slick. They've got their own style, and everyone that works there has their own flair, and they're all unique characters. So that also makes it a bit easier. But whether it's the tattoo studio, a coffee shop, if it's a barber, just going in, you need to slow down, or I feel I need to slow down and absorb what they're doing, absorb what they're feeling, and then that way I can see that these are masters at work. And how do you spot these little subtle cues that they automatically do without knowing? So obviously most of them do know, but they don't. They're so immersed in the flow of what they're doing that they don't notice it. And capturing these details is a huge part of feeling the space out and understanding what it is that they do. It's not just a matter of, I'm going to go in and this person's standing over here cutting this, or this person's just sitting down. There's obviously on a shallow surf, on face value, that's what it is. But to get these shots that are these are for them, these photos that I take, obviously they share these photos and they use it to promote however they like, but these are for them, so they've got a record, and it's a moment caught in time where they're at work doing their art. And that can't be... I'm sorry, my cat's meowing. That information can't be attained without having slowed down and feel what they're feeling. And it's like I said, it's really easy. I used to shoot coffee shops quite a lot, whether I'd actually go in there for a set shoot or I'd just bring my camera in and take photos if the store owners or the managers were fine with it. But I want to take what Fabian said, the guy who owned that coffee shop, I want to take that on board and be able to replicate that in every situation, not just something that I've had experience in. I want to bring that style and that way of flow into any workspace. And the only way you can do that is by slowing down and being slower than what's happening in front of you and slower than the environment. It's very easy to get caught up in moving around with the moving with the client or the subjects at work, but you can't really capture subtleties if you're just in a whirlwind with them. Sometimes, as I said, there is points of it where you need to get in there and give a feel of what's happening. And you can, if it's a coffee shop, you can see that there's a rush happening, or if you're in an MMA gym and there's sparring happening, obviously you can't just, you want to capture a feel of that movement and that energy, but you need to be reserved enough to able to take on all that information and then perceive the scene and visualize it and see how you're going to take it and then move forward and execute. which can't be done if you're just flustered. And that's, again, something I try to carry over into other facets of life, other aspects of life. So, yeah, just key is to slow down. Just slow down, and whatever needs to happen will unfold as it needs to.